I was very happy to be there, and I thought it was a very solemn celebration, and I was very, very lucky because I was able to have confession, because there were, if you think the full cathedral, there were not so many priests to take confessions, but as I was sitting right next to the edge of the control zone, I immediately approached that sort of gate and signaled to the Swiss guards that I wanted to go to confession. And as the priest had passed, I was one of the first to get in, and so I was lucky because as soon as I got out of the confessional, there was many, many people there. So I was very lucky.
Could you talk about the consecration and just the significance of what Pope Francis did?
Well, it's a very, very big significance, and the Fatima children had revealed one of the secrets was to consecrate Russia to Our Lady. And it has happened several times, but it has never happened in such a solemn, international way where all the televisions and all the communication media and so on and so forth were there to witness. And also the text was very good. I know that many people were thinking, oh, maybe he's going to not say the right things. He did. He said everything right and correct. And of course, we can be sure that Our Lady will help and we will see graces. And it's very important because the Ukraine and Russia are countries of religious people. There are many religious people there now. Ukraine has different Orthodox movements, but it also has a strong Catholic movement in the former Hungarian and Polish areas that used to belong to them. Galicia, for example, is Catholic. So I think to bring in and consecrate those countries to Our Lady was a very necessary step, especially at this point where these two countries are quarreling.
Are you surprised at just the degree of the destruction we're seeing? Did you in any way foresee that we would see what we're seeing now in Mariupol and just the complete devastation?
Well, if you observe the armory that the military complex sells to the world today, then of course you know that they have a huge potential for destruction. We saw this in Syria, we can see this in Yemen, we can see this in Central African Republic, and in very much also in Ethiopia. There are all these wars. The military equipment is very, very strong, and as soon as the military equipment is kaput, how do you say? Then, of course, the military complex is very interested to sell new material. So we have a very large industry in the back that is actually also interested in those fights because they can sell new arms.
And now Germany is rearming.
Yes, and I don't like that at all, because I was very happy for Germany to bring down its military power because of the past. And I am a pacifist at heart, so I don't like those strong military armaments and ammunition and all that. I think it's very dangerous, because if it is bought, it will be used. Nobody buys new cars to just keep it in the garage. If you have a new car, you also want to drive it. And the same goes for military equipment. And of course the destruction is terrible, because now we look at it because it's so close to us. And of course, one must say the role of the United States in this fight is devastating, because the American government has always fueled wars abroad, and it has always brought disaster, as we can just see in Afghanistan. Afghanistan, we had war for so many years, and the withdrawal just shows it just killed people. It made a huge unrest in the population. Did it bring something better? No, just that they sold arms, that was all.
And for what, 20 years?
Yes, 20 years and more. So I think just as the tobacco industry had to reorganize itself and sell other products, the arm industry and the military complex has to reinvent itself and sell other products. I think the world, it can only change if everybody, if the people who are the sovereign of any government, if the people raise their voice and say, we've had enough wars, we have enough of these killings, we want peace, and the military complex has to produce other goods that are not there to destroy human beings.
Princess, what is the spiritual path back for us?
Well, I think everybody has to start from inside their house, because it's always easy to point the finger somewhere else. So basically our duty is to live a Christian life and to also promote actively a Christian life. That would be already very helpful, because what we've seen in the past is that the Christians became too shy and too closed shop maybe to advocate for their needs. That's why we have those huge anti-Christian movements that come out of Canada, that come out of California, that come out of most of the US. In the meantime, in general, it comes out of the European Union. These are basically new methods of Weltanschauung, a way to look at the world. One thing, for example, that strikes me, and that Christians, I think, should fight all over the world to make this understood. We are not too many people in the world. We have still too many Malthusianist thinking people in high-ranking positions who hold on to the belief that the world is overpopulated. That is not true, because science since long time has proven that if we put together the whole world, we would all fit into Texas and everybody would have a house and a garden. If you look at the globe, you see how much non-inhabited space there is. It's ridiculous, but nobody takes the time to actually look at the globe and say it's true. The humankind, it's a lie. We are not too many people. So the whole question with abortion, euthanasia, or also wars, is wrong, because it is fueled by this ideology that is very strong. They believe we are too many people. And Elon Musk and Jack Ma already said, I think it's 6 years ago in a large conference, that the danger of the future for humankind is not too many people, it's not enough people.
Right. Not enough taxpayers in a lot of ways.
And not enough consumers.
Yes.
And you can even see it in Africa, where I live part of the year. I spent all the winter in Africa. People used to have 10, 12 children. One mother used to have a lot of children only 20 years ago. Today they have maximum 3 or 4 children. Mm-hmm. So also in Africa the number has gone down, right? Which I think is a development that is only natural, because the more they earn, the less children they have, because the children used to be a sort of a insurance. And when you make enough money, you don't need that sort of insurance, and therefore you have less kids.
Can you talk to us about why we should be encouraged at this time? There's so much discussion now. There's this fear about the next conclave and all of these things, but you don't seem like you're terribly depressed about all of this.
Well, first of all, you have to start by knowing that fear is a means to manipulate people. So every time somebody wants to seed fear, you have to immediately be alert and say, why is that? Why do they want me to be scared? Because when you are scared, it is proven scientifically that your brain shrinks in stress and you think less. So always question, what is the fear about? And what can I do to get out of the fear? And for us Christians, of course, have no fear, the Lord says. And we should not have fear because anyway, we are only a little ant in the whole world. So what we know is that God looks after us, and with our prayer, we can influence the course of life. Even one person can influence the course of life. So faith and prayer is the best armament against the fear-mongering that wants to destroy us.
So it's one or the other, faith and fear.
Yeah, exactly, faith and fear. And if you feel that you cannot master your fears, then you seek help. But I always say the first step is to go to confession and then speak about it. And then already the priest will say to you what you have to do. And if you don't master it, then you go again and again, and then you will be helped. Also, the priest can tell you, I think in your position, I would see counsel from a doctor maybe, if you cannot manage your fears.
Right. So often when I communicate with you, you're on your way to Mass, you're coming back from Mass. So could you talk a little bit about your spiritual practice?
Yes, of course, and I have Mass every day. And the Mass and the sacraments are the best anti-poison that you can take every day. And that's why I think if you have the possibility, we still have the freedom to worship. There might soon be times where we have to worship secretly, like the Japanese people survived very long periods of terrible persecution. And they also did, and many saints were born there. So you always know that the sacraments are the best way to help go through life and to beat the difficult challenges that anyone gets at any time. And so if you have the possibility to participate and get the sacraments, that is the best way to deal with all the problems in life.
Princess, what is your message to the Catholic faithful?
To Catholics, I want to say, be more self-assured and more missionary. Let's take an example from our Muslim brothers and sisters who are much more faithful and who have no problem to roll their carpet out in the middle of the street and praise Allah. That, I think, is admirable, pious practice. We should also be more outgoing with our religious, because we have the good news. We have the frohe Botschaft. Our religion is the world's most open and most liberal religion, because sin is part of our belief. We don't put sin aside as something really bad, but we say, no, sinning is part of our life, and we want to deal with the sin and talk about it and think about it and include it, and know every day that we are very weak and we are prone to sin. But if you take sin away from your religion, then you make it much more difficult, because you can never be perfect. So I think the Catholics should be more publicity for Catholic way of life.
At what time in your life, Princess, did you realize that you were called to be an evangelist?
Actually, when I went to school for the Pentecost, you get your confirmation. And then when we were told, now you are soldiers for Christ. It's your duty to go out and tell the others about the good message, the good news of Jesus Christ. And I took that seriously. And also I realized growing up that basically we suffer under a dark cloud of Puritanism. Everybody that thinks of us today thinks that we are the religion of forbidden things. And the contrary is right. The forbidden things comes from the Puritanic, from the Protestant denominations. The Catholics are the ones that have fun parties, that have beautiful costumes. If you look at the Catholic countries and you look at their festive days, the beautiful carnival marches in the streets, and the foods that are served around, the meals, the music, the incense, the scents, that's Catholic. And Catholic incorporates all of that, but somehow the anti-Catholic propaganda has been able to overcharge us with this puritanic movement, which is not us. But we haven't been able to push this cloud away, and I think we should, because go to Mexico or South America and every Catholic country, Italy, Spain, and look at their cultural feast and holidays. That is the ultimate proof that the Catholicism is a happy religious, a world-embracing religious, and not a religion that says no, but a religion that says yes.
Wherever the Catholic sun does shine, there's food and dance and good red wine, right?
Exactly.
I think Belloc said that.
Yes.
Actually. Why do Catholics need to come to Rome?
Well, because Rome is the pilgrimage place of St. Peter and the grave of St. Peter, and it is, in the past, popes gave indulgences so that the people are encouraged to come. And of course, one I also say, it also was a way to bring business to the poor city of Rome. And so with the indulgences, people said, okay, great, I want to take an indulgence, let's travel to Rome. And then they sleep here, they eat here, they do their pilgrimage. It's also good for the local business. So it's two things. It's go do a pilgrimage, which every step is a prayer. And it doesn't matter whether we walk or we fly. If you go through the trouble of a long journey and you declare it as a pilgrimage, you see how it will transform you, because it's the spirit in which you go.
Well, Princess, I just want to say it's such a thrill to be in your presence. So just on behalf of our entire staff, our board, all the LifeSite family throughout the world, we want to thank you for doing what you do and just sharing the passion that you have for the Catholic faith, and just all the joy that we receive from you. Thank you. It's an honor.
Yes, and I also want to greet all the listeners of LifeSite News. I am a very big fan, and I think they do great work, and I love what you do, and you are also a great evangelist with what you do.